Just because you look in the mirror right now and feel fine doesn't mean everything is actually okay. When you cross the age of 60, the most dangerous processes in your body often start quietly, without pain and without a single symptom. Most people fall victim to exactly this false sense of security. They walk around thinking, well, nothing hurts, so I'm fine. But inside, the clock might already be ticking backward. Today, we are going to talk about exactly this. We're discussing the top 5 silent killer diseases that develop without symptoms after 60. This isn't just a scary list. Throughout this video, you will learn not only what these diseases are, but how to spot them before your body sends a distress signal, how to reduce your risk with simple steps, and most importantly, how to save your own life. Listen closely, because the disease at the very end of our list, the one in first place, is the one that claims the most lives worldwide, yet is often detected the latest. I strongly recommend you watch this video until the end, because this information could one day save your life or the life of a loved one. Let's not waste any time. We start with number 5. At number 5, sleep apnea. Most people dismiss this as just snoring and pay it no attention. They wave their hand and say, "Oh, everyone snores when they get older." But in reality, this is a very serious and deceptive condition. Sleep apnea is when your breathing actually stops for short periods while you are asleep. Imagine you are in a deep sleep, but your airway collapses and air stops entering your body. This can happen hundreds of times in a single night. The worst part is, you don't notice it. You don't wake up. Your brain just gets starved of oxygen, and your heart has to work overtime to struggle for air. Why is this a silent killer? Because the patient almost never complains. "I stopped breathing last night." Only the person sleeping next to you can notice it. If your spouse says you were snoring loudly, and then suddenly you went silent, like you weren't breathing, do not treat this as a joke. How can you spot the early signs yourself? If you sleep for 8 or 9 hours but still wake up in the morning feeling exhausted, like you've been carrying rocks all night, if you have a morning headache, or if you feel constantly drowsy during the day, these are warning signals. If this continues for years, it can lead to heart rhythm disorders and even stroke. So, what should you do? The simplest and most effective solution is weight control. Often, excess fat around the neck presses down on the airways. Also, get into the habit of sleeping on your side, not your back. This simple change helps keep the airways open. If symptoms are severe, consult a doctor to get your sleep quality checked. But remember, sleep problems don't end with just tiredness. The next disease is even sneakier because it grows inside you for years without causing any pain. At number 4, colon cancer. Many people don't like talking about this. They feel embarrassed. But after 60, being shy about this topic is equivalent to risking your life. Colon cancer takes the 4th spot on our list, and it truly develops silently. Why? Because this disease often starts as small, harmless growths called polyps. These polyps don't bother you at all. Your stomach doesn't hurt, and your digestion might seem perfect. They live quietly on the intestinal wall, but over time, sometimes over 5 to 10 years, these innocent polyps can turn into dangerous cancer. When do people usually go to the doctor? When they feel severe abdominal pain, experience sudden weight loss, or see blood in the toilet. Unfortunately, by the time these signs appear, the disease has often already advanced. That is why we call it a silent killer. But the good news is, if you act on time, This is one of the easiest cancers to prevent. When we talk about early signs, you need to pay attention to your habits. If your bowel movements change, for example, unexplained constipation or diarrhea that lasts a long time, or if you feel constantly bloated, pay attention. The most critical sign is blood in the stool, but often the amount of blood is so small it cannot be seen with the naked eye. That is why prevention is worth more than gold. After 60, even if nothing bothers you, screening tests are a must. The simplest advice: add more fiber-rich foods to your diet. Vegetables, fruits, legumes, these are the brooms of the intestine. Cut down on red meat and processed sausages. This simple dietary change significantly reduces the risk in your gut. Keep in mind, gut issues aren't just about digestion. The next disease is one that slowly shuts down organs throughout the entire body and is known as the sweet enemy in our blood. At number 3, type 2 diabetes. In third place is what many know of as sugar disease, but few fully understand its true danger: type 2 diabetes. Among people over 60, this disease is becoming an epidemic. The scariest part is that millions of people live with diabetes and don't even know it. Why does this disease develop silently? Because when blood sugar rises, a person doesn't just collapse immediately. The body tries to adapt. You can walk around for years in a state of pre-diabetes. During this time, excess sugar is slowly eroding your blood vessels, kidneys, eyes, and nervous system. Many people think, "But I don't eat sweets. How can I have diabetes?" It's not just about sweets. It's about our body's inability to use insulin correctly as we age. Our cells become lazy and refuse to accept the sugar from the blood. To spot early signs, pay attention to yourself. If your mouth has been dry often lately, if your thirst has increased, or if you are making more trips to the bathroom at night, these could all be signs that blood sugar is high. Another subtle sign is blurry vision or a tingling sensation in your hands and feet. If small cuts or wounds are healing slowly, that is also a serious signal. So, how can you tame this after 60? The very first step is movement. When muscles work, they use up blood sugar as fuel. Even a 15 to 20-minute walk after dinner every day provides huge benefits. The second step is to be careful with white foods in your diet. White flour, sugar, white rice. Choose slow-digesting foods instead. Checking your blood sugar levels from time to time is your best defense. Because diabetes doesn't give you pain. It simply shuts down your organs. But the disease in second place on our list is so cunning that in medicine it is officially called the silent killer. It exists in almost every household, yet many people don't take it seriously. At number 2, high blood pressure, hypertension. In second place, hypertension or high blood pressure. Why does everyone call this the silent killer? Because when your blood pressure goes up, you might not feel it at all. A person can walk around with a pressure of 160, 180, or even 200, feeling fine, laughing and chatting. Imagine a garden hose. If you open the water tap all the way, the pressure builds up and the hose becomes tight and tense. If this happens every day for years, the walls of the hose get thinner and eventually burst. The same thing happens with our blood vessels. High pressure damages the vessel walls and hardens them. This is the main cause leading to stroke or heart attack in the future. Many seniors make the mistake of saying, "My working pressure is 150, I'm used to it." In medicine, the concept of working pressure is dangerous. If the pressure is high, It means it is eroding your vessels, period. Whether you feel it or not doesn't stop the damage. Sometimes, early signs can include morning headaches, ringing in the ears, seeing spots or flies before your eyes, or nosebleeds. But often, there are no signs. That's why the only way to know is to make friends with a blood pressure monitor. What can you do for prevention? The number one enemy is salt. As we age, our kidneys struggle to flush out salt. Salt holds onto water, increasing blood volume and raising pressure. Adding less salt to food and avoiding pickles helps keep pressure normal. The second is stress management. When you are nervous, vessels constrict. Deep breathing exercises, calmness, and a good mood. These aren't pills, but they have the power of medicine. If your pressure is consistently high, you must be under a doctor's supervision. Ignoring this is playing with fire. And finally, we have reached the first place. This disease can be the final endpoint of all the problems we listed above, and it is the number one cause of death in the world. At number 1, heart disease. In first place, heart disease, specifically ischemic heart disease. This is the greatest risk after age 60. Why does this disease also develop silently? After all, a heart attack is painful, isn't it? The thing is, a heart attack is not the beginning of the disease. It is the consequence. The disease itself develops inside your arteries for decades. Cholesterol builds up inside the blood vessels, forming blockages. The path for blood gets narrower, but because blood is still getting through, you don't feel anything. It is only when the vessel becomes completely blocked or that plaque bursts that the tragedy occurs. For many people, the first symptom of heart disease is a sudden heart attack. Unfortunately, for some, it is also the last symptom. That is why it sits at the most dangerous number 1 spot. But our body sometimes whispers signals to us. We just don't hear them. For example, getting short of breath with just a little physical activity, or climbing stairs, or feeling not exactly pain in the chest, but discomfort, pressure, or a burning sensation. Sometimes the pain isn't in the heart, but in the left arm, the jaw, or between the shoulder blades. If you find yourself thinking, "I used to do this without getting tired, but now I get tired so quickly," that is your heart saying, "I need help." What must you do to protect your heart? As we mentioned earlier, controlling blood pressure and sugar levels is mandatory. Furthermore, do not stop moving. The heart is a muscle too. It needs to work. Sitting around weakens the heart. Proper nutrition, cutting down on fatty, fried foods, and increasing fish, nuts, and greens helps keep vessels clean. I don't even need to mention quitting smoking. That is the biggest betrayal you can commit against your heart. Even at 60, it is not too late. The moment you quit, your heart starts to breathe easier. Conclusion. Friends, the 5 diseases we covered today, sleep apnea, colon cancer, diabetes, blood pressure, and heart disease, all share one common trait. They like to wait. They gain strength from your negligence, but you have the most powerful weapon against them: awareness and knowledge. 60 is not the autumn of life. It is a time when you have the opportunity to dedicate more time to your own health. Do not rely on the phrase, "Nothing is bothering me." Make it a habit to get a full medical checkup once a year. Spotting changes in our bodies on time is the key to living a long and meaningful life. Your health is the greatest wealth for your children and grandchildren. Take care of yourself. This video is prepared for general information purposes only. For any health issues, diagnosis, or treatment, please consult a qualified medical professional.